Hello, and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. We're wrapping up our July 4th holiday. Chip, how was your holiday and what did you do?
It was a great holiday. I had so much fun that I forgot what I'm doing here today. This is the podcast, right?
It certainly is. Yes, it's rare that, because it fell on on a Thursday, we had so much time off. It's interesting getting back into the swing of things.
It is, especially we've had a beautiful July so far, so we are definitely in summer.
Oh, we certainly are. Although we've been lucky, it hasn't been all that hot, and things are good.
Humidity. It's been nice.
So we are being joined by a special guest this week. We have Chris. Chris is from the Wheeler Clinic. And Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what the Wheeler Clinic does?
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me today. So I am a foster care recruiter with Wheeler Clinic's foster care program. Wheeler Clinic as a whole is a nonprofit mental health organization, mostly in central Connecticut, but spreading out a little bit around that. As I said, primarily mental health. They do some primary and dental. A lot of work with the community, making sure that we provide the care for just anyone's mental health needs. There's dozens of locations for Wheeler Clinic, but I specifically, as I mentioned, work for the foster care program. We have two foster care programs at Wheeler Clinic. They are in Plainville and Waterbury. And what I do is I go out into the community and I try to find new foster homes. I find the parents that are interested in learning about what it takes to become a foster parent. I do the training for them and the licensing, and then I do the matching to help children find homes in Connecticut.
That's fantastic. How many foster homes do you deal with on a regular basis?
So right now we have around, I'd estimate 50 foster homes between our two programs, and we're certainly hoping to get that even higher as the year goes on. On any given day, there are hundreds of kids in Connecticut that do need foster homes. And the thing about that number is it's always changing, because anytime you find a child a home, there's more. You find homes one day, and then the next day more children come into care, and you need even more homes. So in total, it's somewhere around 4,800 kids in Connecticut that are currently in care, but on any given day, there's really hundreds that need a home.
Yeah, I would imagine that one of your biggest challenges out there is to just the awareness, number one, that your programs exist, and also public awareness that there are this many kids in the state of Connecticut that need the care. So awareness is one thing, and then obviously, if you could tell us how the process works too, and how we can help you out.
Yeah, so you're definitely right. Awareness is big. I don't think a lot of people realize that Wheeler Clinic does foster care. There are a number of programs that work in conjunction with the Department of Children and Families to find homes for kids in Connecticut. So a lot of times as I meet people, I tell them I'm from Wheeler, and they recognize that. They say, yeah, I've heard of Wheeler, but I didn't know that you did foster care. The process in itself, it really starts with making contact with us, either through our phone number or our website, wheelerclinic.org/foster. essentially the first step is just having a conversation with us, asking us your questions. What do you want to know about foster care? What is it that you're not sure about? Helping people understand the qualifications to become a foster parent. I found there's maybe some misconceptions there. Um, and again, my goal as a recruiter is to really educate people on what it is that it means to be a foster parent with us, what our kids go through, when they're in this foster care system, what it's like to help parent a child in need like that, and help families come back together, because that is one of the primary goals. We always want to make sure that our families in Connecticut, they can stay together, and that's a big part of what we do in foster care. So we have those conversations, and we do a training for them. We talk about the foster care system in this training. We talk about working with kids that they're away from their families and they're scared, and they're wondering what's going on, and maybe they've experienced trauma, and we go through that in the training process, and we do the licensing simultaneously. And then, throughout that process, our families are, again, they're still learning um, if this is the right step for them. It's a continual kind of dual evaluation. We evaluate any family naturally, but the family, throughout this entire process, they get to really evaluate themselves.
You mentioned that Wheeler does a lot of work with mental health. Are you providing evaluations and mental health care for these foster children, or are you simply trying to place them?
No, so that is the added benefit of what we do, is that we have the mental health services for the children that we work with. We have case managers, we have clinicians, and they're in the homes every week, and they're available 24/7 to our families to help navigate anything that comes up. So we're doing the work in home. Our families, um, they never wonder who they're supposed to call or who they can call, because we're always available and we're there to help. So we help with the things that come up, naturally, any kind of unexpected situation, but we also we do that long-term care, that building, providing the building blocks, and helping our children and families move towards success.
I mean, what kind of difficulties? I mean, you're taking a child away from their home,
Hmm.
placing them with with strangers, essentially, and
Yeah.
then possibly moving them multiple times. What kind of trauma is this causing to the children, and how do you help them?
Yeah, so foster care is, it's necessary at times, as we all know. The unintended consequence of it is, as you said, removing a child from their family and placing them with strangers. That in itself is a trauma, entering the foster care system. So we are very much aware of, and we go over this a lot in training with our foster parents, to help them prepare for the fact that um, children can struggle to build trusting relationships with people when they're in the situation. I mean, you have an adult in that kind of situation, and it's hard for them too. So
Sure.
that's why we work so closely with our families, is because and then there could be a number of reasons of why the child is coming into care, which could also be something they're struggling with at the time. So that's another reason why we're doing work with the child to help them manage all the feelings that they have surrounding the coming into foster care, and maybe what's happened to them in their lives, or maybe they've had multiple moves, and they don't feel safe anywhere, and they don't readily make these trusting connections. That's why the training is so important, is it because our parents have to understand that, from my perspective, and a lot of people that know foster care, what the foster parents are doing is this amazing thing that, I mean, there's really no words to describe how great it is what they're doing. Um, but the child won't see it that way because there's so much more going on for them, that that's not how it's interpreted by them, and naturally they shouldn't be. So it's helping our families navigate that, of you're doing something amazing, but you know it's not always seen that way, and it's not interpreted that way from the other side, and we have to help the child feel safe and feel like they can build trust and work on the things that maybe they're struggling with. And it's not going to be easy. There are going to be struggles, but we're right there with our families, and they don't have to figure it out on their own. They don't have to wonder, what the next step should be for them, or what they should do, or how they should handle things, because we're going to help them figure that out.
Do you have group activities for foster children and for families that are involved with them? Obviously, you do the training up front, but as far as the ongoing programs go, how interactive is Wheeler with the parents and the families as far as getting together possibly for group activities and that kind of thing?
So we do offer monthly support groups for our families. Um, we and we certainly encourage our families to build connections with each other so that they can, have that additional support network develop. So we're always offering the support groups monthly, and then we do focus on finding, programming for the kids, whether it be a formal kind of, therapeutic program, or maybe it's pro-social activities where they can, go out in the community, engage with their peer groups, and build self-esteem in various ways. We are also doing that for the kids, signing them up for different things. Um, and then we do ongoing training for our families as well. And every family is required to have a certain, the license for foster care. It lasts every 2 years, and we renew it. And over that 2 years, there's a certain number of hours that they need to get. So we make sure that our families are always learning, about different things, about child raising children with trauma, anything that can be really helpful. How to build attachment with children that, rightfully so, struggle with trust.
Yeah, I would think that training would be invaluable going into different situations like that. Are there certain characteristics that you look for in potential foster parents that you've seen help lead to success?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, I do believe anyone anyone can be a foster parent. But certainly, it's those people that really, they like to be kind of they like to be doing something. If they're not doing anything, they're bored, and that boredom is tiresome for them. It's so wanting to be, very involved. It's people with a lot of patience. I think that kind of goes without saying, but, that type of person that can have something major happen, and it doesn't really phase them all that much. They're able to just kind of take it in stride and move on, and do what they have to do. Um, I found that a lot of times, retired, parents are really great because maybe they've had that experience raising their